Welcome to the Sports Card Lessons Podcast. I'm your host, Big Ken. Whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on a streaming service, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. You'll be notified whenever I drop any new content. Welcome, and thanks for being here. Today's episode, I'm super excited to have my man Brad back on. Outlaws _ sports _ cards, all plural. Brad, how you doing today?
I mean, I feel like I'm on so much now. I just, it should almost be like a regular visit. I should get like my own little segment for maybe like a minute or two in every episode at least, right? Something.
Yeah, maybe you have to do the intro or something, like
I don't
bring
know.
us in.
I can't do the intro. Every time you do the intro, it always makes me smile. It always makes me laugh. I don't know why. You always have me cracking up when you do your intro.
Hopefully I make everybody smile when they hear the intro.
I don't know. I don't know, but it'll be funny. I just when I hear you say the Big Ken and the whole thing, I don't know. I start smiling.
Real quick shout out to my man Jordan, who comes on a lot at Zips Cards. His wife had the baby yesterday.
Oh, congratulations!
Congratulations to him. And I said to my wife, I'm like, send over, I asked my daughter, I asked him, I said, do you have a registry? And he said, everything's bought out, right? So I call my daughter up. I'm like, what do you give? Somebody's having, she says, give them food cards. And when they have a brand new baby and they go home, they're like, they don't want to cook, get something like Uber Eats or whatever. So I told my wife, I said, all right, you had the baby, go ahead, send it over. She messages me today and she said, do I say it's from Big Ken or just
They don't know who you are, you just Ken, right?
Yeah, he knows who I am. I mean, Ken is fine.
That's so funny.
But
yeah, you're right. If you sign something Ken to me, I might go, who the heck is this? Unless I knew the reference to it. So
yeah.
That's funny.
So we're at the end of this is actually going to air in 2024, right? It's going to air next week, but it's still 2023. And if you're on YouTube, I got this great clock behind me, like the countdown to the new year.
Happy New Year.
Brought you on, want to talk about a couple things, just, what went well for you in 2023? What did you learn in 2023? What are you looking forward to in 2024? Are you changing things up or is it, business as usual?
I mean, the last part's great. It's going to definitely be a lot of, for me, business as usual, because I don't see anything changing for me with what I've been doing and how I'm doing it. Still trying to always find, I guess to talk terms now, it's like cards that are less easily comped, on a every 30-second basis, still trying to find those cards, because that's the only win you really can get these days. If you can try to find cards that are just, let's not use the word liquid. We can talk about that later. But just when you can actually put up a fight on comps is where you can, you got to find that stuff. It's hard, but I'm not going to change that. Where did I fail this year? My failures, very easy. Anytime I messed with anything modern, I just got myself bit in the butt. And I'm not trying to dissuade anybody. I know a lot of people do it, and I don't have the mechanisms to move cards, and I don't want to move cards every hour by the hour.
Yeah.
So you walk into a Justin Jefferson card and, you go home with it. And then the next show you show up and the dude's not playing and, nobody wants them. And it's great. And so I just, okay. So, you sit on those cards, you lose your money and you learn just to not do it again until someone else walks up to your table and tries to sell you that card again for 70% of comps. And you're like, wow, this is just so cheap. And he's so great, and then he gets benched like Russell Wilson. I mean, just learning that no matter how much we know that game, just it's so tempting to get involved in it. And no matter how much I've been tempted and I've taken bit the apple, I still just, man, I got to stop.
It's great. It's great. It's great that you brought that up because I want to just jump in real quick and say that my biggest successes this past year, this year, because it's still this year, my biggest successes was ultra modern, but it wasn't the quick flip. It was I'm buying in December, January, February, March, and then I'm looking to move in June, July, and
Hmm.
August. So
Hmm.
that was my success.
Hmm.
And coming into this year, I've set up a few players that I want to prospect on and do the same thing. I mean, take a guy like Desmond Ritter, and like people were coming at some people were coming at me with praises, and some people were coming at me shaking there with that disappointed look, saying, oh, why would you, put your money in Desmond Ritter? Did you not learn with Mac Jones the year before? And I tell them I did learn, but my problem with the Mac Jones and the Zach Wilson, those cards, is I didn't sell them fast enough. I sat on them for too long.
Right.
you know, Desmond Ritter last year was buying him. I bought a ton of his cards. I moved them all May, June, July for a profit. And it didn't matter to me whether he was a phenomenal quarterback come September or he was going to be sat on the bench for somebody else, because I didn't have any of those cards left. Right. So there's a
Hmm.
way. So when we're talking ultra modern and you're
Hmm.
saying you got bit, you're right. I mean, if someone comes up and you buy that card and the guy, the Joe Burrows, right? He's out IR for the rest of the season. All of a sudden, if you're sitting on some of those cards that you just picked up that you were looking to move, you're stuck with them now.
Right. And that's just the game. Quality stuff you buy, you see at the right price, you get it. And you look, like Burrow, like great example. Burrow's great stuff. You buy it, try to buy it at the right price, and then he gets hurt. And the market is so fickle that I'm fine. He's a great quarterback, but now they become long-term holds, and I'm okay with holding stuff like that per se. But I don't want to. I don't want to be involved with it. I own it and want to flip it. So when I go home with it, I almost like I look at my clock sometimes when someone walks up to my table and it's 11 o'clock, and that card is presented to me to buy. I might buy it, but at 2:30, no, I'm not even touching it because I know I'm going home with that card and probably not going to put it out for 2 weeks, and that's going to be that's my lesson learned. Is that a lesson for everybody else out there? I don't know. Even if you're setting up every weekend, no, you should be taking advantage
Yeah.
of your ability to flip these things. But I can't.
Mm.
I don't. Maybe one day, but I don't want to get involved with that game too much. And one of the also great things I've really learned there are really a lot more. There's really a lot of solid people in the hobby. A lot more than I would even have thought there were. It's unregulated. We get criticized for a lot of scumbaggery type folks and habits, and you know ethics and morals don't apply in the sports car world because no one's really you can make a mistake, get called for it, and then 3 weeks later be back and people are like patting you on the back for showing your face again, and nobody cares because you got money in your hand.
Yep.
In the real world, that's not acceptable.
Mm.
But I did realize that those poor voices and poor actors, just like anything else, there's just a few. They're just a little louder in our group, in our world. But I think there's a lot more really good people out there.
Yep.
Spend some time getting to know them. We say this all the time on this show, but man, I really learned there's a lot of really good people out there. And, let's not judge each other on, sometimes on smell. Yes, I'll judge you if you smell. If you have not worn deodorant at my table, I will judge you fairly. But if you, I think we've also said in the past, there's entry into the card community is very, very simple. Just don't be douchey, and probably wear deodorant. And I think we realize that maybe is not as hard of a thing to do as we joke about. It's really,
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
good people, and you meet them and you talk to them and you spend time at a show with them and you're like, wow, there's better people than you think,
Yeah. What I find interesting is we know, and what you're explaining is it's on the honor system, really. I mean, we're in there on the honor system. But what I find a lot is, when people come up, like guys come up when they bring their kids to the show, right? And you've seen this, and the kid, makes a deal and buys a card, and you put your hand out, and the father's like, shake his hand, like get the deal done and that type of thing. So there's a lot of people who show up, and even know we're on the honor system, there's handshaking, there's good negotiation back and forth on
right?
things like that. So and I think that's what kind of kept me in it. Like there wasn't
Hmm.
a lot of excitement for me to get into the hobby, but
Hmm.
then when I realized there was just There's just a lot of great people, like you're saying, a lot of great people in the hobby, but there was a lot of lessons to be learned, even for families coming in with fathers and sons and mothers and daughters and things I mean, I think there's just lessons to be learned there just because these kids, they sit home, they play on video games, they're on their phones all day. So I think for them to come out and be social and talking, because you
I
have to
agree.
I mean, you're pulling your phone out and you're looking up comps and things like that, but you still have to interact. You still have to ask me, "Are you willing to take this? Willing to take that?" And you go back and forth. And you see there's some kids that come up and they're better than their parents. Like they know way more and they're better negotiators. And at the end of the day, I mean, we talk about this all the time because we joke about this. We're like, this kid's going to law school or this kid's going like you really see like they're going to take
This is the
these
beginning. This is the
this
beginning
is
of
what they're
something.
yeah, they're really learning something, and then they're going they're gonna take this with them in life, and it's life lessons, and you just know that, if they use this properly, they're going to be successful.
Oh yeah, I mean, even the team, even not the so young. I mean, the teenagers. It's funny interaction today. I told him I actually might mention him today. I was at the Emu Card Show today, by the way. Kids, parents, moms. It was crazy. That parking lot was full. It was a great scene, and a card show.
Where's that show?
This was in Middlesex County in Middlesex Elks Lodge. Is usually a small show, very small. I love the small shows. I've been to it before. Never set up. I just went today to get out of the house because there's really on a Friday from 12 to 7. This time of the year, there's nothing. Place was
Yeah.
packed. I mean, we would have known every dealer there, but there was a ton of customers there and a lot of young kids, a lot of kids. But we got to take care of these kids, right? When they come to your table to sell, you can't screw them. You got
Yeah.
to make sure you go. You shouldn't screw anybody anyway, regardless. Let's preface that, but you should do your best to make sure that you're going to educate this kid as to why you're going to make this price to him. You've seen me do it. Actually, tell them, here's the price you should offer me on this card, and they laugh. Sometimes they don't even want to offer that, but you got to educate them on how to even
Yeah.
present, an offer
Yeah.
to you. But it's just
And it's great because I see you do that. I do that. You see other dealers do that. When a kid comes up and the kid's sharp and the kid's really trying, like all of a sudden we start giving them pointers, right?
right. Teach them.
Like, hey, this is what this costs. Maybe you should be offering me this, or maybe, or just break down the scenario for them. So not so much for us because we're going to get the deal done anyways with them. But moving on to the next guy, again, it's
Yeah.
just lessons
Some of
they're
these kids,
learning.
you almost wish like a stock you could invest in them because if you can invest in this kid that's in front of you, like not give him the money, but invest $5,000 in his stock, you're probably going to make a lot of money. In future performance of that individual. So it's almost like in my head, you look at them like, man, I wish I could invest in that kid.
Yeah.
They're just good. They're just they
Yeah.
know what they're doing, and
Yeah.
it's great stuff.
It's like seeing an athlete, right, at a
Yeah,
young
you just
age.
know, and the brain is a funny thing, man. That's the athletes. We get old, or you get old. I never was an athlete. You lose your muscles, things change, but you keep that brain sharp, man. You keep that forever.
Yeah, yeah.
Keep that forever. And it's
So
funny.
this show you went to, it was busy, a lot of
Yeah, it
people
was
there?
busy. It was
Yeah,
busy, and I was gonna make the point about the younger there's a younger crew there. They're always together, these 3 guys. They sit at this table, and they're big dudes too, and they always sit at this 6-foot table, and they're, like, sitting like this in these little chairs, and I always laugh and make fun of them, and they're really great dudes. They're really awesome. One dude, he's like, if you saw this dude, Ken, I mean, I don't even know his name. He might be listening. He's like 6'4". He's bald. He looks gigantic, but he's the nicest dude on the planet, and he's so friendly. But one of his partners is there. And last time I saw him, I asked the price of a card. And this is what he said to me. I'll see what you say. This was not, I didn't preface you with this before the show. I asked the price of a Patrick Mahomes card, and he said 1.5. So you know me. What do you think I said to him? 1.5 million? And he goes, no, 1,500. I said, well, I work for a bank. I said, in the normal world, if you walk up to someone and say 1.5, that means millions. So in the card world, let's stop using point. I said, it's really like a big pet peeve of mine. Decimal places belong in the correct spot. So let's not say 1.5. So anyway, I was teasing this kid. I told him I was going to do that today. And that these little things like that, like I told him, it sounds like a funny little thing to get quirky about, but That's not correct. You say 1.5, it's $1.50 or 1.5 million.
Yeah.
That's a comma there, brother, if it's 1,500.
Yeah.
So those little things, but the show is packed, all people running around. I don't know who's buying what. I know a couple dealers looked like they had a line at their table, people selling them stuff. And same dealers, busy. The same dealers, that were not busy were also not busy. The ones that you walk up to the table and you know exactly what's in the case and there's no one there. And
Yep.
then the other tables, why, there's 300 kids with briefcases on it, because there's something going on that's drawn there. The kids love some of these guys, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah. I know it's funny you use that 1.5 reference. I do this all the time. I'll walk up to a table and I'll say, and somebody will say 6 or 5, right? And I'll know it's 5K.
Right.
And I'll be like, 500. I'm like, I think I would buy that. I think I'll buy that card for 500. They're like,
right.
no, it's not 500. It's 5,000. I'm like, oh,
Right.
okay.
Or at least say 5K, something like, but 1.5, there's no point in 1,500. That's a comma.
Yeah.
If you put 1.5 on your sticker in a store,
it's
someone's
$1.50.
going to think it's $1.50 and they're going to walk out of it with $1.50. So like these little funny things, but the people that were there though, again, it was just, it felt like Rounders, the movie felt a bit like Rounders, the movie Rounders, the show. When you walked in, every dealer, we knew every one of them. It felt like that, and they're, who's going to walk into the room that they don't know that's actually there to buy cards and not be like one of us per se. But there was a lot of people that were not like us, which was nice to see.
Yeah.
Very busy.
Now, the last time you were on, you were getting ready to do another. So this was just a Friday night show, right? This one you went to? Was that
Friday 12 to 7. They advertised it, Emu Card Shows. It's on Instagram. They do a real nice job. They would give away $50 door prizes, $100 door prizes. They were giving away some really nice stuff today, and I think they always do. They're very generous. It's the show is decent when all the dealers that we know are filling up the room. That they don't have space for people because all the professionals want to be there. So those shows are, as we know, are tougher for professionals to buy and buy at, but those are great shows because that the products they have they're designed exactly for what the customers want. Most of those dealers are got, price wise, I don't know, but card wise, they're usually equipped to put out what everyone's looking for. Most of those guys are and gals.
We had a local here in Plainville, the Friday before Christmas. They did it's usually, one Saturday a month in Plainville, but they said, hey, we're going to do a Friday show. And I talked about being super excited to go there. And when I went there, now I've gone the last few months I say the last few months, I go every month to this show. It's on a Saturday. If I'm not away at a show, I'm going to this show. And I don't do that many deals. And again, it's like, I know all the dealers, they all know me. I know what they have. I've seen their stuff, but I still go anyways, because you never know. I just like to be part of the hobby and go out there.
Sure.
Right. But this Friday night, super excited, went over there. I ended up buying, 3 or 4 cards. I watched, there was so many, I just felt that there was this buzz in the air for a Friday night show, and deals were being made, and it was pretty exciting. I don't know.
I was there 2:30 on a Friday today. I mean, I know everyone's off from school and stuff, and people are kind of off, but there was buzz in there. But I was like you. I knew all the dealers. I went for the fun of it. We saw John and Joe, who run the Cardboard Carnival, which is a great show I'm setting up at soon. And we saw, actually, the guys I just referenced. And there's a bunch of dudes that from like Whatnot that would be selling like rice cakes. Or all these guys are there. And a lot of friendly faces, a lot of good people. Jay, I see Jay all the time. Definitely doesn't listen, but he sets up. He's a lot of the same guys that are all friendly, great dudes. And for me,
he doesn't listen. We're not mentioning him.
Yeah, that's why. Joe, my buddy Joe's cards, and then you had Cards by Joe, who's also a great dude. I saw him today. A lot of him.
Yeah. It's
a lot
good
of great
friends
guys
with,
walking around the aisles today, just hanging out. A lot of great folks there, just socializing, being friendly, and then deals or not being deals. It was almost like we've talked about this before. It felt like I went to like happy hour with a bunch of people with no alcohol.
Yeah.
With everybody there, kids, all different ages, were there to talk about cards. And I, hung out for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I got some free chips from my buddy Joe, and I went home.
Yeah.
But it was great, and that's kind of like what it felt like.
Yeah.
Good. It was good. It was really good. It was a good time to get out, even if I didn't honestly. I didn't spend $1. I paid $3 to get in, and I used their bathroom. That's about the best I did.
It was
I
worth
did
it. It was
try.
worth all $3.
I did try. Hard. It was
And that's
tough.
the important part, right? We go to these shows, we try to make deals, right? And
Oh,
and
yeah.
and and what works for us may not work for somebody else, right? So, I mean, for what we're doing, a lot of times we're setting up, right? We're going to shows and we're always fine-tuning. So we're at a point now where we know, and I just talked about this on a previous episode, like I know immediately when I look at the three comps, I know what people are going to offer me for the card or what they're willing to be pay. So now I have to get below that. And I understand when people are like, no, I just can't go that low. I understand that. Absolutely right.
Sure.
Because I don't know where you're at the card. You may be way over, right? You may be way underwater on the card. So, and I talk about you have to be into a card well in order to be able to
Buy better. Buy better. Buy better. Buy
yeah.
better. Buy better. Buy better. Just
Yep.
keep buying
Yep.
better.
Yep.
Got to keep
And I
fine
and,
tuning. Got to keep fine tuning how you buy.
yeah.
Keep making relationships with people that want to sell.
Yeah.
And this is hard to say to people because it's hard with budgets, but expand the pile that you're growing. I mean, buy a bigger, let's not say bulk, because to some people, bulk means boxes. Bulk could be 10 cards to you. You will get a better deal when you buy more cards. If you're trying to pick off one at a time, if you come to my table and try to pick off one $30 card, you're not going to get it for $20. But if you take 3 or 4 cards, there's a good chance you'll average them out to be where you want to be.
Yeah.
So again, start thinking long game, not short game. Don't think, hey, I'm going to pay $10 for this card and I can only get 15 for it. Think about how you can get this card down to 8 by taking more two $10 cards that are worth 15 and getting them down for 8 also, and keep making more money. Again, I know it's easy to speak when you can walk into a card show. I don't know your budget, but it could be with $50 or $5,000. You can make that happen. You just think smarter. The guy or gal across from you selling you those cards, you think they want to sell you one? They want to sell you 5. They want to sell.
That's why these guys are so successful, and they come in and say, "Hey, if I buy 8 or 10 of these cards, can you give me a better deal than what the That's why they're so successful. People are like, yeah, if I can sell out half my case, yeah, I'll sell it for a little under comp.
And if your margins are right, who cares? As a dealer, we want to go home with cash so we can put better stuff in, keep tightening up our business. And especially if you're taking stuff that we would perceive as like not stuff we want to hold. I mean, there's always there's conversation. Most dealers are happy to have a conversation and let you know where they want to be on stuff if you tell them. Again, that goes back again. It's the same theme every time we talk. It's relationship, conversation, relationship. I'll sell a card cheaper to somebody I like than to somebody I can't stand. I wouldn't sell it to them at full comps. And that's a fact. And anyone that wouldn't tell you that, you know what? They obviously just don't care. I mean, I personally would rather go home with a card than sell it to someone who's a complete jerk for full price. And I don't care. I'd rather sell to you for 75% and know that I made you a couple bucks and be happy than the guy that's going to go flip it. That's a real jerk.
Or one of these 16-year-old kids or 12 or 14-year-old kids that are coming in and they're trying to, hustle and buy and sell cards. You'd rather give him the deal than give it to another guy who's set up right next to you.
Right. And who is abusing your prices or whatever. It's just I always you want to help people make money that you want to see succeed. And it's a weird thing, but isn't that just what we all do anyway? I mean, that back to that, it goes to like bad dealer behavior. We talked about that before too. It's a lot of the dealers are the ones that are making the larger deals in the room, which is, I've always said it's great. They're keeping us all liquid that we can continue to improve our businesses and our inventory and keep us paying bills. But by the same token too, when you walk up to my table, and I might make a deal with you because maybe the prices are working, but that'll be the last time we do a deal. When you start waving your phone in my face and showing me like comp, and you start talking to me like, I don't know, or you convince, and I'm sure this guy is listening, like, convince me to buy this card. Like, are you serious? Are you going to actually, you're a grown adult in the card business. You need to tell somebody, like, convince me to buy this card,
Mhm.
throw me something like, all right, folks, let's just stop with the cheesy stuff. Like, just be, you know
Yeah.
what? I need you to take $10 off more. I can't do that. I need 20. Stop with the games. Stop being
Yeah. It
last
gets a
comp.
little
Stop with the last comp crap, because I'm going to go back and check and see that there's 4 other comps that are not the last comp. So when you
Mhm.
walk up to me and you say last comp, I'm going to check. And if your last comp to me is $26, but the 4 before that are 52, I'm just going to not even counter you and walk away. Just be straight. Say, hey, last was 26, but before that did 50 and 50. Where do you want to be? If you think I'm going to sell it to you for $20 to be under last comp, the answer is no. But you can have
Yeah.
that conversation. Some folks, you just got to listen, dealers, if you're out there listening, learn how to do this better. I can get better every day. Ken, you can too. Learn
Yeah.
how to talk to the dealers, learn how to communicate with each other, be honest and upfront, and stop like trying to nickel and dime. Don't nickel and dime. Stop. I know you
Yeah.
got to pay your bills. I do too. You nickel and dime me, I don't care. Go away.
Mhm.
Please just go away. I don't care. I'll tell you to go away. Just do it.
My
Can't.
my my ability to look up comps as fast as everybody else has really put me into a different lane because I can't sit there and pull them up as fast as everybody else does. So what I do is the night before a show, I go through and I comp everything, but I look and I try to memorize all the last 2, 3, 4 sales. And there's times where I'm like, no, I know this, and that. And somebody will be like, no, there's a sale for, and there's been these 1 or 2 times where that sale has happened that day, right? But for the most part, I know right away, and I think it makes me look like a better salesman.
Yep.
Look like, like I really know what I'm doing when someone says, "Oh, what's your price on that card?" And I'll give them the price, and I'll say, "I know the last." They'll start looking it up, and I'll say, "I know the last 3 sales were boom, boom, boom." Right? So we're right now. We don't need to play any more games.
Everybody knows the comps.
Yeah,
Everybody can look up comps.
yeah,
So, just talk.
yeah,
Like, just talk. Even show,
yeah,
like, wouldn't you rather do the deal with the dealer and the dealer, whoever, dealer, customer, where everybody's, it's not, people say it's buying and selling. It's still a trade. You're trading your cash for my card or my cash for your card. We're still making a trade.
yeah,
End of the day, that transaction, everybody needs to still win or feel comfortable winning, right? Whether everybody's winning or not is not relevant in this conversation, but people should walk away feeling like they both at least had success. That's the idea of the transaction. And
yeah,
that can happen a lot easier when people, or not. I mean, hey, here's the, I think, approach. Again,
yep,
it's still
yep,
a business. In some ways it's not professional, but everyone is really good at this.
mhm,
I've learned so much about how to comp cards. I was in the slow lane with this too, even 6 months ago. But Ken, if you spend 5 minutes with a couple decent folks, forget the age. There's dudes that are older than you that can comp cards faster than anybody.
yeah,
Just talk to them about what they're doing. Ask them that when you see someone doing, when you, like anything in life, when you see somebody doing something really well that you like, ask them how they're doing it.
yeah,
Most people, unless it's a secret or they're getting paid to share this, don't you think most people want to tell you, like, hey, how'd you lose all that weight? Well, you're paying someone a compliment. You're actually paying homage to someone. Wow, what you did is great. How'd you do that? Most
yeah.
people
You're
want their ego
complimenting them.
stroked and say, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to now give you all my secrets because you told me how handsome I am. Well, why don't you just like say, hey, Brad, that's great. How'd you do that? You know what?
Yeah.
I'll give you all my secrets now. All you gotta do is be nice. We all want to
Yeah.
boast and brag. We all want
Yeah.
to say how we bought something cheap and how we got it and how we
Yeah.
got a 10 and came up. Doesn't everybody want that? I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. So leading right into that, perfect segue, right? So this past year, one of the things that I've learned is the most profit I've made on cards are not graded cards that I purchased to resell, no matter how well I purchased them, but it was cards that I graded, right? Cards that I either ripped or I was in a break
well, there's
or
a
I went
comment of
out.
2023, Ken, right there. There's the that was the smartest line of 2023. Buy a raw card and get it graded is the most easy way and the best way to
Yeah.
make money.
Yeah.
Wow. Who would
Yeah.
have thought that, Ken? Right?
So when I say that about me, are you feeling the same way? Is
Always.
there?
I've
Yeah,
always felt that though. Always. I've said that from day one. If
yeah,
you sell me a slab, I don't like, honestly, I'm embarrassed to offer people low prices. I just won't offer you anything. But it's hard to buy slabs from people, hard to buy slabs from anybody
Yeah.
because
Because this
the
year
come
it
up.
changed. I mean, before this year, it was very easy to buy these slabs and turn them over. But before this year, for a number of years before that, it was easy to go to a show and buy 4, 5, 6, 7 slabs out of somebody's case,
But there's a reason,
reprice
though,
them.
Ken. There's a reason because cards were taking 6 months to grade and they were costing 50 to 60 to $80 to grade.
Yeah,
So why do it? I just buy the card and grade it. There's the come up. And you
yeah,
can flip it. And cards were moving so fast. But now you buy a slab, you know, unless you have a come up with the player or you're buying it right, it's tougher. It is definitely tougher. But for some people, most people can, you buy a stack of great raw cards and you send them in for grading. There's extra cost, there's waiting, and there's no guarantees on what you're going to get. So I get it. Some people don't want that risk, and I get it too. It's a very unaffordable risk for people. You send in one order of cards and you get, imagine, younger in the industry, younger in the business. I don't care your age. You're doing the 6 months. You built up $1,000 little pot of cards. You send them in to get graded, and now you get a bunch of 8s and 9s on modern prism type stuff, colored prism, LaMelo Ball, stuff like that. Now you're slaughtered. You're done.
yeah,
You're done.
yeah.
But if you bought
Or
it
or
raw, at
or
least you have
or
a
you
chance.
or you could be like me and buy yourself a big, magnifying glass with the light on it, right? And just sit there and, take all these glasses off and you just get underneath it and you go through it and that's what
I'd pay
all I
someone for
started
that.
doing. And the way and I'm gonna be straight up. If I can do it and get tens,
Yes.
anybody can do it.
I pay
Anybody can
someone
do it.
to help me do that. And the reason why I pay someone for that is honestly, A, I have like awful eyes. B, I have no patience, Ken. Like really no patience to do it. And there are people who really enjoy it. They enjoy it. And it's not expensive. And it's nothing illegal, inappropriate. They're
No,
just
no,
like wiping off fingerprints, taking
no,
off if there's like a little, sometimes on a card they cut it, you can see there's something hanging off of it.
yeah,
Sometimes a little wipe, just wipe it.
yeah,
Me, I don't want to mess with it. I send it
yeah,
to my friend. He's really good. He does the paperwork and sends it all into PSA for me. So all I do is open up the box with the results. It costs a little bit more, but I don't deal with it. And I'm
yeah, yeah.
at
If you have
results.
a guy that's good, if you have a guy that's good, that's perfect. But I think a lot of us will say we really don't. And if you do have a guy that's good, I know, and I'll say my guy Jordan zips cards. He's great. He'll look at cards all the time. I mean, he'll pull it out and say, "This is what I think," or "I think you need to do this," or "wipe it down," or whatever. And
Yeah.
he'll just do it. He'll just do it looking at a card where I have to
And the
sit here and
YouTube
look.
videos on how to wipe a card and clean
Yeah,
a card. It's not like
yeah,
it's you
yeah.
can do it. It's not
Yeah,
hard. I
but
just don't
it
want to.
takes there's a certain I think it takes a certain bit of skill too for
Yes,
somebody,
agree,
and they need to have patience because I
agree.
know I've done it. You need to
Not me,
have patience
not for me,
doing it.
not
So,
for
I
me.
mean,
I would
I
take
put
3 cards, wipe it down, and go. I'm done. And they would sit in a big pile. I I have. It takes me like 3 weeks. I have an order that's supposed to go for prepping. It's been sitting on my kitchen table in a box to be prepped to be packaged for like 3 weeks. It takes me that just to get to do that. It's like, ugh, like I don't want to send this box. I
mm,
don't want to package all these things. I don't want to deal with it. I'm not wiping cards. And you know what? My friend enjoys it. He takes the money and can use a couple extra bucks to buy himself something. Maybe I don't know, whatever. He likes it. If he wants to sit and do it all day, and you know what? I'm sure he feels great when he sends me a text message that like my Patrick Mahomes optic red 99 got a 10. I mean, I'm sure like you wish it was your card if you were
yeah.
prepping it, but
Did you grade that card?
sure did. I did
Oh,
not buy that.
I thought you
Yes, those
bought that
pictures
as
I
a
sent you,
10.
all those pictures I sent you, Ken, were raw purchases. The Mahomes, the Unitas, the
Oh,
Barry
wow.
Sanders, Row Zero, the Blue Legacy to 99.
Yeah.
That is nasty. The downtown. You were standing next to me when that Sean Taylor downtown walked up. In fact, one of the episodes a few months ago, I think I showed it here, that 10. And those cards will all be available at White Plains, will be the next time they'll be available, not a day before. And they will probably not make it a day after. Mahomes might. I'll be high on Mahomes. Uh,
Yeah.
Last comp on that card twice was 10 grand. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't even, I know people listening are going to think I'm crazy. I wouldn't listen to an offer that didn't start with a 10. Uh,
Yeah.
for anybody that doesn't
What
look up.
well, I could say there was one on PW, and I don't know if it's still there. There was one on PWCC that I for a few months it was on there, and I kept trying to go on there, and I kept throwing up a bid on it, and I was outbid, and I let it go, and then it would show up 2 weeks later again, and it
It went
was
10
it was
grand.
it no, it was under 10. It was
There's
it was a,
the last two on that red to 99, they both sold over like just over 10 grand. So I'm happy. I don't know if you know what I paid, but I paid very correctly, very correctly. Um,
Well,
so
it was just good because usually on a card like that, when you buy into it, so your guy must be good. Because a lot of times what people will do, and you know this, they'll buy the card, they'll crack it out, and they'll try to sell it raw. If it doesn't grade well, and I would have to imagine a Mahomes red rookie to 99, right? That had to have been graded at least once or twice. So
I'm going to say in this particular case, no, because I know where the card came from. And the person it came from was probably somebody no different than, everybody we pray it to be. Someone who bought cards, collected cards, didn't grade them, kept them at home, and didn't care. Just so happened that the one they had of this card happened to be a 10 condition. But, you could walk into this guy's house and they would have had this card in the box. It could have been an 8 also. Probably Pat pulled or bought it like a collector. Didn't grade cards, sold it. Ended up, honestly, if that card even had a rip in it, I probably would have bought it because you just don't get to see stuff like that. And to me, that card is just gross because it's the true red. And I'm not a Chiefs fan, but I've always been a big Mahomes fan. And I do think now would be the time. I'm not selling mine, but now would be a good time to buy Mahomes with his little bitchiness and they're down a little bit.
Yep.
This kid's the real deal, right? He's not done. This kid's got many, many years and many, many Super Bowls left. This might be the down market.
This might be the last time we get to buy.
Think about that. End of 2023, the card market's soft. Mahomes prices they're good. They've been good. They're not anywhere strong. What happens if Mahomes gets it to gear and makes a deep run in the playoffs again? Now where's cards going? And then next season, the hype's going to be back again.
As a Chiefs fan, I'm praying that happens. As a collector of his cards, I'm hoping that he just they get knocked out the first round and everybody's down. This guy's a bum, right? And go out and buy him.
I don't care how many problems they have. I don't care what Mahomes is bitched about or not bitched about. Yeah. And I don't care how good some of the other teams are. To me, until Mahomes stops ending up in Super Bowls or on the doorstep, all roads go through Kansas City.
Yep.
Go beat him. Go knock him off. Get him knocked out in the first round. Someone else take over. Do it for a couple years. I'll buy in. Right now, until somebody tells me Kansas City's not making the playoffs, I'm still in the preseason. When the playoffs start, I'll go make a bet. And I don't bet, but I do every year. I always pick a Super Bowl winner. Probably picking the Chiefs every year because I believe in Mahomes. But I probably will go and throw some money on the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl because how do you just – I don't like him like that. But how do you bet against them? Who else? If you had money to put on right now in the NFL, forget your love of teams and your hatred for teams.
Who does he remind you of this year, though? Doesn't he remind you of Brady and the Patriots, where everybody was cheering because the Patriots would go through this thing in their season where they'd be stumbling and they'd look terrible, and everybody's saying, "No, they're all done. They're all done, right?" But they win their division because the division was horrible. They'd make it to the playoffs, and next thing you know, you turn around and they're in the Super Bowl, right?
I mean, let's be real. I mean, listen, I'm a almost 50-year-old white dude sitting behind a computer that never played like any real sports other than like high school, low level stuff. What is tell me who in the AFC scares you other than Patrick Mahomes? I mean, yeah, okay, the Dolphins could be good, and there's all.
No, I don't know. I think this is the year for Lamar Jackson. I think Baltimore
maybe, but he doesn't. But he doesn't scare
me.
He doesn't. I'm not going to bed tonight going, "Ooh, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens." Like I'm not scared. I'm not going to bed going, "Ooh," like we've seen Tua get beaten by some bad. The Eagles look vulnerable. Dallas looks funny. I mean, End of the day, all these things of Mahomes up. Where's he going to be? Again, I'll take it when I'm dead wrong here. And they get knocked out. They don't even make the playoffs this year. But I have a funny feeling we're going to revisit this, and Mahomes is going to look like Mahomes again in a few weeks.
Yeah.
And the playoffs are going to start when it matters the most. Right when the playoffs start, the Chiefs will get it right. They have the best coaching staff in the NFL, and you'd be hard pressed to put money against them. I would not bet against them. Never.
No, I never do. I never would. Nope.
But I'm also the guy that is a Jets fan and has bet on the Jets to win the Super Bowl every year since I can remember. So,
Yeah.
take that for what it's worth too. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
worthless advice from me.
So I know you just talked about this Mahomes card, but if we put that one aside, some of your most memorable pickups from the year, and not flips, like cards that you've purchased and said, I'll never let these cards go.
I mean, Babe Ruth Gowdy, raw. It got a 1. Fantastic. Never gonna probably come out. I picked up, this is interesting. It's a 74 card, Satchel Page. I forgot it's a crazy card. But he signed it. And I brought the card in. I bought it raw. And I brought it into San Diego Sports, Mattawan, and Justin. They graded it for me. And I said, take a shot on the auto. I didn't even know if it was real. Grade the auto. The Satchel Page auto 10'd. So not only did Satchel not, obviously long dead, did not sign a lot, if at all. And that auto got a 10. That to me is just, it's not going to get sold. I brought it to the Garfield show. I put a price on it at $2,500. I had a couple people still messaging me looking to buy the card, and I told them you should have bought it for the $2,500 when I was willing to take it, because they were willing to pay it. They just weren't sure. Now it's gone forever. Vintage. It's been vintage. All my big pickups this year that are going away. A Type 2 Sinella Babe Ruth, it's going away. All those types of cards. I'm finding them. I'm buying them. I'm selling anything else I can to cover the cost of those cards.
Yep.
Can anybody own a 33 Gowdy Ruth? Absolutely. Can anyone go buy one in a PSA 1 holder with a MK mark on it? Sure. Can you go buy one raw in the wild, get it graded, and then own it for a long time? Like, that just to me is a reason to keep it. Stuff like that. And it's all vintage, folks. All vintage. Babe Ruth can't do a whole lot to get his cards to go down in value. Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio, could go as far as you want. Hockey, Wayne Gretzky. I mean, you all realize Wayne Gretzky's record's going to get broken any day now. Not any day, but very soon by Alex Ovechkin. And people actually, who's Wayne Gretzky? If you don't know who he is now, you're going to find out real soon. Vintage.
Do you think that's the play? Do you think vintage is like for your own like cards that you're purchasing, that you're saying, I'm going to hold on to these, that they're almost irreplaceable? Now, you just said, yeah, I can get these cards elsewhere, but they almost become your own, right? If you're buying these cards and you're grading these cards and you're the Page auto, you graded that, it almost becomes your own. It becomes something just a little different than everybody else's card.
I mean, a lot of people can have a Satchel Page auto. You can go get one right now on eBay. 800, 900, 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 bucks. Go get one. No problem. But I bought mine in the raw, in the wild, for 500 bucks. Took a shot. Crazy, mad, stupid, maybe. But I knew my source. I know where I'm buying it from. I'm not buying it from some stranger walking up to me at a random card show saying, look at my Satchel Page auto. No. Educated, hopeful. But, cards like that, like, you don't find those. You're just not going to find that again. If you find a Satchel Page auto raw in the wild for the right price, you'd buy it and take a chance. You don't find it. But that stuff, yeah. And just, again, it's not even all vintage per se. It's just hard to find. Like, I showed you that Barry Sanders card. That's a Rose Zero Flair Legacy Blue to 99. It's a pop 3. But if you found one, it's probably a PSA 6 condition.
Yeah.
They're not out there in the wild. You don't find them. Cards like that. That's rare. Is it worth a lot of money? I don't know. What's a lot of money? 3,000, four
Depend
thousand bucks, right?
depends on who. Yeah, depending on who's
Right,
holding the card.
right.
Yeah,
But that card, go find another one raw. And then when you do, find one that is nice. Like some things you just don't need to sell. Or you
yeah,
hold a little, you saw that Lemieux jambalaya I've had, right? Like that's,
mm,
you just go certain cards like that. Rare, 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 rare. It doesn't have to be valuable dollar wise. Rare can be
mm,
$50.
mhm,
But there's got to be a reason why somebody else is going to want to buy it from you. Or one day, and I say it's not for sale. Sure, someone's going to walk up to me one day and offer me a dumb price for the Satchel Page auto, like actually offer me more than $2,500 or something dumb, which is might be dumb. I don't know. And I'll say, oh, you know what? Today I'll take it. I want to buy something else.
yeah,
Right now, I don't.
yeah,
But that's anytime I get a chance to buy vintage now, Ken, even in rough condition, big names, quality years, you got to buy it. This stuff is just, they're just not making any more of it.
yeah. And besides the vintage, I mean, is there anybody else or any other sport or any other decade that you're chasing? Like you're saying that I just think this is the play right now.
Yeah, so vintage, let's go a little more recent. I won't call it vintage. Let's call it like our years growing up. So everyone loves refractors. They love these X-fractors, inserts, number. I love them too. You can buy them all different price ranges from $1 to $3,000. But what I've been having a lot of fun with, keyword fun, and very affordable, has been doing these like late 80s, 90s, early 2000s from those upper deck type products, those older products like Don Russ. And you know how many amazing autos there are of players that didn't have 3,000 autos in and now they have autos now. You can open
Yeah,
up a mosaic box and pull a Wayne Corbett auto of a today product. It's worth $10,
yeah,
$12. But there's Wayne Corbett autos from when he played
the early
that there's not
2000s.
tons of. And think
Yeah,
about that. Think of your favorite team and go search. Ask. I was going to tell you this earlier. Over the holidays, the kids should be asking their parents and grandparents, "Who did you watch growing up?" It doesn't have to be Michael Jordan. Like if you ask me, my favorite players growing up: Sam Perkins, James Worthy. I love those Tar Heels. You know who I didn't love? Michael Jordan. I love Worthy and Perkins. Right. I loved rooting against Patrick Ewing. Right. I loved in baseball. I loved Don Mattingly. I hated Roger Clemens. I hated Pedro Martinez. But those little stories those are the autos now I'm out buying. Like, who didn't love like those basketball things with the guys doing all the crazy plays and stuff, like Skip to My Lou and all these guys, right? Ray for Austin. Buying these autos, they're so affordable. You
yeah.
don't see them. You cannot find them from these, not current product. We're not
No,
talking
and
prison
a
box
lot of those guys are in the Hall of Fame too now.
or like our days. Remember, basketball as a professional sport is not as old as we think it is, right? So it's not, the history isn't that long. So a lot of the guys that we saw playing growing up are legends to us. They're not legends to a lot of people because they're 20 years old now. These people watching the game are 20 and 30. They didn't know
Yeah,
who Sleepy Floyd was. We know who Sleepy Floyd was, right? Like you could joke about like even Herb Williams, but now he was a great coach, assistant coach. All these local guys, Charles Oakley, people don't know. All these autos, I'm finding them out there in the wild, buying them in bulk. Man, what a great
cheap
time.
too. I bet you're
Cheap.
getting them cheap. Yeah,
I'm buying them cheap because nobody like
nobody
truthfully
wants them. There's
go
no
comp
comps on them. There's
go
no
comp
comps
on
on
eBay.
them.
You can find comps on some of these guys like 15, 20, 30, $40 an auto.
Yeah.
Some of these guys you realize, like I bought one the other day, Art Monk.
Oh, I remember him. Yeah.
Art Monk, one of the best wide receivers. He was at one time when we were growing up, right? He had the catch streak, he was everything. He was number one wide. He was the GOAT before Jerry Rice was the GOAT.
Yeah.
Art Monk, go find his autographs on cards. Go look now for Art Monk. Everybody listening, you're not going to find a whole lot of Art Monk autos. So people don't want to pay $50 for his auto. Go find one. They're going to cost you $100. These are guys that as we get older, these names will become more and more relevant to the other people in the hobby.
Yeah.
They're going to get more expensive. These autos also from the late 90s, early 90s, early 2000s, and these products, you think number to 1,000 of an auto is a lot? That's the only probably 1,000 autos these people had.
Mm.
That's all they had. They probably had 3 products with 1,500 autos in it. So when you see like a Scott Rowland auto, he doesn't have 10,000 autos in those products.
Well, there's not 10,000 products, right?
That's the
I
point.
mean, you've got a modern guy today, and every product he may have 100, 200, 300. You
So
know,
think about that, Ken. Like
they're
that's the
just
stuff like you want to own. Like so, to go back to like Wayne Corbett. He's one of one of my lifetime favorite all-time Jets.
yeah.
Wayne, if you're listening, I love you. Let's meet any day for a soda.
Yeah.
But Wayne Corbett autos today are, 10, 12, $15.
Yeah.
But his
Yeah.
older autos, they're 25, 30, 40. But when was the last time you went to a card show and you looked in someone's box and you saw from their playing days, not modern, from their playing days, Michael Strahan, Wayne Corbett, Pennington, Testaverde, Jim Kelly, all these guys.
Yeah.
You go as high or low down the ladder as you want. When do you see these guys?
Yeah.
Never.
Do you like buying up those in-person autos?
No, no IPs. No IPs. I mean, I would do IP of the right player, but no IPs. I like IPs. I've done them with like IP in-person folk. And when you are buying an auto, if you're not sure if something's IP, you're not looking on the back of the card. It'll tell you usually if the card is certified or authenticated by
If
that
they
company.
guarantee the auto.
Yeah, if it doesn't have that, it's usually an IP. If you see a card that doesn't look like it should be signed, it probably shouldn't be. It doesn't mean it's fake. It just means you need to pay extra to get it certified. Anyway, I don't mess with them too much because there's an extra cost. I did buy one at Old Bridge because it was the coolest one I've seen. It was a Billy Ripken, the F face card on the bat barrel the rookie card that he signed it. I gave the guy probably too much for it because you don't see him, but it's at PSA now getting authenticated because who the heck wouldn't want a Billy Ripken F face autographed rookie card? Like that's just the coolest thing ever. And it'll be for sale, everybody, when it comes back.
Yeah. Brad's plugging his table already.
Actually, cards like that don't get sold too quick. You know why? I like them. I like my cards too much, Ken.
Yeah. You don't want to let them go too quick, too easy.
You know what?
Yeah.
That's the problem. I'm buying too much stuff I like right now.
Yeah.
It's
but
cheap.
see, you're a lot like me too, though. Like I know all your cards are all coming with stories, and you like telling those stories, and sometimes the story is better than the card. So you don't let the card go because you just want to hold on to the card and keep telling the story, right?
And it's funny too because my friends, they'll listen. Two of my buddies who are, there's three buddies. One's into cards. Two of them make fun of me for this. One's into cards, one's not, but he plays along with it. I have like a dollar bill signed by Lee Trevino. I've probably told the story on here before, and they always like ask me if I bring it to the show so I can tell people that story. And then usually they ask me how many times I told it, and it's not funny anymore. But I do have a good Lee Trevino dollar bill story. If anyone asks me that, I'll be happy to tell you what that was all about.
Yeah. So where are they going to see you next? Where are you setting up next?
January 6th, Old Bridge. There's two Old Bridge shows normally. That Friday night show. This is the Triple Crown production show. Saturday the 6th. It's right after New Year's. I don't think there's a whole lot going on. It's an early show. I think they do like 9 to 2. Small.
It's just Saturday, 9 to 2.
It's a Saturday. It's a small show. Maybe 40, 50 tables. I went to that show one time as a buyer. And again, I always like to set up where I like the buying. I didn't buy a ton, but the quality of cards the dealers were showing were high. Mm-hmm. There was not a lot of, PSA 9, Mosaic, Prism, retail, third year Tuas being shown. It was a lot of decent stuff and guys making deals. So I liked it. So I said, you know what? Nice crowd of dealers, very comfortable room for me. Let's take a table. And then after that, of course, Ken, where I won't see you, is White Plains.
Or White Plains, yeah.
I'll be with,
you'll probably see me. I think I'm going to be able to go down there to walk the show. I just have too many commitments that weekend to commit to being set up.
I know Behind the Diamond John is taking, I think this time it's just him and me.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody else in the square except John. If you're listening, you can confirm me that later. I believe it's just John and myself for that. And then after that, February, I will be Old Bridge. No, sorry. February will be Old Bridge on the Friday night. There'll be Manahawkin on a Saturday. And then there is, again, small shows. And then Sunday, Cardboard Carnival, which is now in Montville. Those guys do a bang out production. Manahawkin too. Small show, South Jersey. Don't sleep, people. Do not sleep on Manahawkin. And the Friday Night Old Bridge show. Do not sleep.
I'm gonna have to come stay at your house to go to these shows. It's a lot of travel time for me, you know, to get in a car, especially South Jersey, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, it's not so bad. You know, again, Manahawkin's like 45 minutes south for me from here, but I like the crew there. The table setups are great. The show promoter, Jeff and Neil, these are great dudes. I like, you know, sometimes it's about the money, yeah. But when you go to a show and you know the other dealers there are super cool to hang out with, you know the promoter is super awesome to talk to, and you're paying $50 for a table and you want to be there. So maybe you don't sell as much, but there's worse things to do than do that. Old Bridge Friday night's been a great hangout. I don't drink, you know, but man, they got the bar open, cheap beers and burgers and hot dogs going, and it's a great room. And I hang out with last show, Dave, Extraordinary Cards, Bluestein. He was a good time to hang out with. And we saw Tyler and Santiago was there. And then March is
do you think that Olbrich show, do you think the Friday night is better than Saturday, or the Saturday is better than Friday?
They're two different promoters and it's two different shows. But this year, the December show I did for Old Bridge, the one they did Friday and Saturday. Friday night was awesome. Saturday was rough, but there's a lot of competition that day. But they do a good show. Steve and his dad, I really like that venue there. They do a real nice, again, same thing. Good dealers, good customers, really good room to be in. It's very friendly, very warm. But the other one, Saturday, I've never shut up at it before. That Friday night show's a blast, man. I know it's like for 5 to 10 on a Friday. For you, it's a long drive.
Yeah, but I might come down. I mean, if I could come down early enough on a Friday so I could beat all the traffic and get there and do some things before the show,
sure,
then I don't mind. You know, I could walk the show and do.
It's whatever. A very small show. It's it depends on how long of a drive it is for you. It's small, but honestly, like I said it last time. When you see the quality dealers they are putting, I sold a Michael Jordan rookie card at that show. Dave next to me selling like whammy cards. All around the room was like Gretzky's rookies, and things are moving. So, it was, even though it's small, 30 tables, people were there selling cards and people were there buying. I mean, I sold things for 50 cents out of my 50-cent box, and I sold, a Jordan rookie. Got paid strong on a Jordan, strong, like really strong for a PSA 6 Jordan rookie. So how do you not go to a show like that when people are, whether you sold one card or 50, when you walk in the show and dudes are walking in with that kind of money to spend, that's the place you want to be. And they're coming with their money there. There was a ton of repackers there looking for cards.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Especially me. I have a handful of those higher end cards that there's very specific, right? So it's just certain people. And I just I don't want to put them online and try to sell them online. I want to sell them at, in person. And I just need to put get in front of the right people that would want these cards.
So. Don't again, like we said last show too, don't discount these repackers, man. A lot of these guys, like Austin from MPT, these guys pay so strong sometimes on the right stuff. Listen, when you're handing them junk, what do you expect them to pay? You expect them to pay you 85% on PSA? Like, no, let's be real, people. But if you bring these people cards that are, first of all, ask the repackers, like, who they repacking for, right? So, like, find out who they're repacking for. When you hear they're repacking for major, like, breakers and major people, they're buying cards, and you see they're buying Sandy Koufax rookies for repacks. They're not buying Jalen Hurts, 3rd year, Mosaic, Prism, 9, PSA 9s.
Yeah.
And they're paying. People, do not turn these people away because they repack. They will give you money very fairly, probably as much as some of your walk-up customers will pay you.
Sometimes better. Like I've had them offer better money than just a regular customer coming up to buy.
Austin,
and I say a regular customer, but it's really like a regular flipper, right? Because most people are just in the flipping business.
I'm only saying his name, but Austin, there's guy Ethan, there's a bunch of really good dudes out there. Their crews, they know who I'm talking about. Their whole crew. I love these guys. Meatball and Brian, they know they'll pay better than regular customers because they have to bring good stuff to they're not always buying for themselves, they're buying for other people. You think they're going to hand them a pile of crap and get paid for it? Do you think they
Yeah,
want to?
and I've listened to a few, I listened to a lot of stuff on, they're coming and buying from us from at 80 or 85, but then on the back end they're going for 120, 115, 120, 125. So they can offer that, where most people that are just coming in to flip, I
Right.
mean, they want to come in and buy it 70 so they could sell it 80 or 85, or come in and buy it 70 so they can sell it to these guys.
You know, a repacker's coming to your table when they're trying to buy like your $4 patch cards and your $2 cards, and they're trying to buy it in bulk because they want to run it in repacks and mystery packs and pull boxes and stuff. Like, those are
Yeah.
guys looking to buy your cards for 12 cents on the dollar, which is fine. But then you get people that are actually doing real like card business. And I keep saying his name, not because it's him, it's because the last deal I did was with him and it was great. Austin, they're pay strong. And if I want, honestly, if I wanted out of the hobby and to be fairly treated, I would call these folks first, because the right ones, they're going to tell you fairly. They're not going to screw you. They're going to be comfortable. They're going to make their money because that's what they get paid to do. But they're not going to let you walk away feeling like you got screwed. And guess what? You could also say no.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll give you 100. No.
Yeah.
110. Okay. You can negotiate. Wait, since when a repacker walks up to your table and offers you a card price that you have to say yes or can't counter? People.
Are we able to negotiate too?
Wait, isn't it? They're still our cards, right? They're not coming up to my table saying, now these are mine.
Yeah.
No, they're great people. A lot of them are great. Some are douchey, but there's always douchies.
Yeah. So look, we just broke over the hour mark.
Well,
so
you took my Friday night from me, Ken, so now you had to go over an hour or so.
2024. Any predictions? Any bold predictions? Anything you think's coming for
I'll give you
that we don't see it coming, and it's coming?
Nah, I wish so. My crystal ball broke when I came onto the interview. I'll give you 3 predictions. One, I think one's a long shot, and one, I don't know. So I think the card market will probably start to change directions in a positive note on pricing, because I have reasoning. I'm not just throwing it out there. We're going to start to see interest rates come down. I think we're going to start to see some easing of some things in the real world that are going to make people get back to using their credit cards, get back to spending, feel more comfortable buying cards. I think some of the heavier buyers and bigger spenders on bigger cards, when they feel like, okay, I am safe again, my 401k and my investments are normal, the market's high, rates are down, they can do some things. You'll see. I think that'll come back. I don't think that's a tough one to call. My bold prediction, man, if I had to make a bold prediction in 2024, it's got to be card related. I mean,
hobby. It doesn't have to be
related.
card. Hobby related.
2024 hobby related. I'm going to say a long shot that we're going to see major companies like Panini, Fanatics, Upper Deck, and other major players in a positive way find a way to come up with some type of enforcement within the hobby, like a policing that will prevent scammers and douchies from getting away with things other than doing it and being welcome back. Like, there is no regulation, and there shouldn't be, because we don't want regulation, but there should be some type of enforcement. There won't be. They have the billions of dollars it creates to do it. That's my prediction, 2024, that these clowns should all get together and say, how do we protect our customers from getting scammed by other customers? Let's help these people feel comfortable in the card world.
Or just let them come together with the cards themselves, right? And
I don't know. I mean, I want to feel like, Ken, that if you scam me out of $1,000, I shouldn't feel embarrassed, that I shouldn't feel ashamed, that I should be able to say, hey, you know what? Somebody help me. This guy scammed me. You call the cops, they're going to say, sorry, we can't help you. No offense to them. Can't help you. Nobody can help you. So it's like we said, it's self-regulated, morals, ethics, handshake. Someone in the industry has the business and the money to say, hey, we can enforce something when somebody does something wrong. How? I don't know. I'm not the answer, man. I just think that boldly someone needs to step up to the plate and start to help the consumers in the hobby be trusting only the person on the other side of the table. Or I don't want to use names.
Well, think about what you're saying. What does that really mean? It means somebody's going to come in and regulate all the money going back and forth over the table.
Well, listen, the IRS is coming anyway, Ken. Everyone out there think IRS is coming. You all should report your transactions. You all should do it the right way anyway. But the IRS, they're coming. So if you're worried about the IRS and all the regulations, it's coming. And I don't worry about regulation from that perspective. I'm talking more just like, you know what, Ken, that I can't sell you a fake card and get away with it. You know, that I can't steal from you and call the cops and them say, sorry. You know, like there's legitimate felonies being committed and nothing can happen because nobody can do anything. Nobody can do anything. You got to chase it down on eBay, and I get it. That needs a change. I think we need to see some help with this. That's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
Too hard.
All right, man. Well, thanks for coming on. We're going to have to make this a regular thing. I think we already did make it a regular thing, but we'll continue to make it a regular thing.
I don't know, man. You're going to have to start to pay me more to do this. I mean,
and you know, it's funny. It's funny because as you're sitting here and as you're talking about report your cards and the IRS, and we know you're into finance. I mean, that may make a great episode down the road there, you know, just talking about, you know,
just, that's the only comment you can tell people, Ken, is just be honest about it. Like the IRS doesn't want to get you in trouble. They don't want to get you in trouble. Just be honest. Keep good records, folks. Be honest.
Yeah.
You know, and guess what? When I do this in the real world for people, if you made $50,000, Ken, and the IRS said, hey, you got to give me 10,000 of that. Okay. I'll pay the 10 grand for you and you give me the 50. How's that work? You going to do that deal, Ken? You're going to give me the 50 grand and I'll pay the 10,000 in taxes. So then I would say STFU, pay the 10 grand. And keep your 40 grand and walk away. You just made money.
Yeah.
You made money.
Why are you trying to hide? What are you hiding for?
Well, you made money.
You should be celebrating.
It's just the world we live in. I hate the IRS. I hate paying taxes. Nobody wants to pay. You just made money. Give them the share you're supposed to give them. Shut up and go away.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah. Everybody's celebrating because eBay decided they're not going to send the form out this year. You know,
listen, but that's just another. It's just because the IRS, no one's going to deal with it. That's why. You know. So you get another year of reprieve. It's fine. You should honestly though. You should still be reporting. You should still be reporting. It is another honest thing, and I do think one day. I know we're way over an hour now. I said it to Dave the other day in Extraordinary Cards in person that somebody in the hobby is going to get in a very public fashion embarrassed for tax evasion, fraud, and all kinds of things. And that person is going to probably be made a example of. And when that happens is when the lights are going to go off for people that, oh, wow, they caught somebody.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened yet. And if they've caught people, it's been so nobody cares.
Yeah.
Wait till they catch a big person, real hobby person that's been hiding from hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars in profits, and they get put out blast. Watch how many people run. Yeah. And by the way, Ken, going back to this, I know we're over. If I went out and started randomly telling everyone on Instagram and Facebook, going live and telling them what they should buy and sell, what cards, specifically players. If I did that in the stock market, I get in trouble. Can't just make random recommendations to people, blanket across the board, not knowing your audience. There's rules that we have that we can't just say, hey, anyone wants to take this medicine should take it. Anyone who wants to buy this stock should buy it.
Yeah.
The card market, we let people go on Instagram who have not even the size of a pea in their head, tell people who might have a brain but have no clue about this.
Yeah. Have the money.
Have money. This guy's saying that they should go buy and sell Cam Reddish cards. And next thing you know, that dude just sold all his Cam Reddish cards and you got screwed.
Yep.
You just got screwed. So where's that person who's on Instagram telling everyone what they should buy and sell? They just got everyone's butt kicked in money. Well, if I did that in my career, someone would say he made that recommendation, get in trouble.
Yeah, you go to jail.
You could get in trouble.
Yeah.
But, I could go on Instagram right now and put on a ponytail and start dancing around and screaming and tell everyone I think the next best thing to do is to buy, Seth Curry rookie cards because he's one day going to be great for being Steph's brother, and they're all going to lose their money. And everyone's saying, I listen to this guy from Outlaws tell everyone to buy Seth Curry rookie cards because he's going to be great. And he's smart. He's on Instagram and he's on Ken's show. And let's listen to him.
Yeah. Oh, he must be smart if he's on my show.
Yeah. And that would be your first mistake by listening to me about that. But then you're going to let someone again, middle-aged dude who knows nothing about sports except what I see on TV tell you who to buy and sell your cards from, and I'm
Yeah.
not going to get in trouble for that. That's fine. Well, then,
Mm.
yeah, listen better, but that shouldn't be happening.
Well, I mean, that's why what the you see these kids with TikTok today and all these other things. They're they're all promoting something. Most people are getting paid to promote certain things. Here, I mean, I know people get paid in the hobby to promote things, but a lot of people, it's just they're promoting stuff for their own gain, right? Not
Sure.
not for
I
the
get
gain
it.
of another company.
Like, and back to those guys, if you're not a repacker and you're advertising repackers, man, I don't know some of these dudes. I love some of these guys, and they might be listening, and some of them are my friends. Why you would put your name on a repack product that you're not putting the cards in that product is very unwise to me, because somebody someday is not going to be happy with that product, and you are endorsing it. If you're going to endorse it, build it yourself, put the cards in there yourself. Do not leave your destiny in the card industry, especially in the card industry, to somebody else's laurels. That's absolutely insane, especially in this hobby when you can't trust the person next to you probably more than 6 feet if you don't know them very well.
Yeah.
Right. And you're going to put your name on a repack because someone sold it to you.
You better police anything your name is going on. Yeah.
Thank you. And I think that some of you folks out there that are putting your names on repacks, if it's not your repack, man, watch it. If it's your repack, put some good stuff in there, because it's only going to take one bad repack and you're done. That's it. So, but if you want to repack cards, me and Ken are happy to give you quality
we're happy
cards.
to sell you. We got some nice cards to sell you.
Fair price cards for repacks. Good cards for repacks. No, again, PSA 9, Mosaic, third year, Jalen Hurts, pinks. We don't have any of those.
All right, kid, we got to go. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Ken.
And we're going to get you on real soon again. Thanks, Brad. Appreciate it.
Take care, pal.
I want to thank everyone for tuning in. And if you like what you hear, please definitely subscribe. And most importantly, tell a friend and spread the word. And until next time, be good to yourselves and everyone around you.